So let's start by talking about, in the so-called off year, short session, whatever you may want to call it, one of the principal one of the principal objectives, there are lots of objections, I'm sure, but one of the principal objectives is, of course, the bonding bill. And Representative Hausman, I think that's been a real area of concern of yours. I know you've discussed it earlier in the session. We sort of sat around and speculated about what it might look like. We now know. Tell our viewers a little bit about that.
And since we were here last, we have resolved the issues, of course, between the House and Senate and the governor and the minority party in the House. And, of course, the joke about resolving all of that is that the House bill comes in, this is bonding, House bill comes in, the Senate bill comes in, and they settle. Meaning the final product is always larger as you put all of these pieces together. This year it couldn't be because of that handshake agreement from last year. And so I kept reminding everyone near the end of the session, we were doing what had never been done before. We actually were going to resolve all of those interests and still have a bill that size because of that handshake agreement. And it was not fun. It was some of my friends, my seatmate, others, and I personally had things we had to zero out that just didn't fit. But I understand there is celebration all over the state. The biggest accomplishment, I think, that was unique was that for the first time we did $100 million that will go to the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency to begin to do what Utah and others have done, and that is to try to end homelessness in our state. The state of Utah, among others, has discovered really the cost of homelessness is higher than if we just find a safe place to house people, and so we're getting on board what other states have done, and of course higher education, and this year specifically the big issue, which was the Lewis and Clark water issue, where we had to, at one point the governor had proposed he would do the whole project, but only in a $1.2 billion bill. Near the end, clearly that wasn't going to happen, and so we had a group of staff sitting around a table with, the staff, you present them a problem, and then at a certain point the legislators left, and the staff came up with a solution that ended up being in the tax bill that solved, so $22 million was in the bonding bill, and then the remainder of the project was dealt with in the tax bill. So a big problem solved, at least for now.
Senator Pappas, bonding bill, what do you think?
I thought it was a banner year. I mean, I'm just so pleased with the projects. Obviously, continuing the remodeling of the Capitol and renovation of the Capitol, top of the list, very, very important that there was a strong commitment for that. I agree with the housing. We did some really nice things for St. Paul. We've got the Children's Museum, which Representative Hausman and I were the authors of that. Very happy that we had good support for that, and as well as the zoo in Como Park, which is it's important for children.
Well, remember, Como Zoo was zeroed out at the end, so unfortunately, Como Zoo was one of those that fell by the wayside.
You got the transportation.
Transportation in the park.
The transportation at the park, which was still significant for Como, but important for our young families. And I think something that also Representative Hausman and I felt strongly about was the Palace Theater. The remodeling of the Palace Theater to attract young people to downtown St. Paul, age 21 to 35. Again, kind of an age group that maybe we don't pay enough attention to, but that entertainment in that corridor, the economic development potential. Of course, it also happens to be my neighborhood, so I'm happy about light rail coming through my neighborhood. I'm very happy about a Lund's grocery store opening up in downtown St. Paul, which is not in the bonding bill. But it is fun to live downtown and see great things happening. Last year, the Saints a new ballpark, great things happening in downtown St. Paul. And many of my Republican and Democratic colleagues live in downtown St. Paul during the session, so they do develop some fondness for our city.
We just have to get that speed limit thing worked out.
Yeah.
Only if you name the road after me.
Just to follow up on her, the last project, we used to say people come to a city to shop. They don't do that anymore. Now they come to be entertained. And so a project like that takes on different significance.
All I'll say about the grocery store, if people are wondering where it's located across the street from the Keys Restaurant, where
Free
where-
advertising for those two
Right,
businesses.
exactly. Senator Hahn, Senator Han, I did it already.
That's all
Anyway.
right. Well,
And, yeah.
I do think that that this was kind of a unique year for bonding of the years I've been here. That I think we did have an agreement last year with the majority leaders in the House and the Senate, and we agreed to try to keep the total 2-year package to be no more than $1 billion. And we had part of the capital done last year. So I think it put a little bit of a parameter, and there's always more things that you can think of to go in a bonding bill than there's actually room for. So I really commend the people who served on the committee. I wasn't one of them, so I didn't have to go through the hard work of figuring out how to make that work. But I do think on balance it wasn't a bad bill. There were, I think, a lot of good projects. I know that Lewis and Clark project was very important for southwestern Minnesota. They do have some real water issues down there. And it was a project that really wasn't on the radar, I don't think, at all last year when we were talking about bonding. So it kind of emerged, and there seemed to be this coalition form around that project and got it done. I do think, my perspective, I think we probably could have done a little bit more with the transportation in greater Minnesota, in particular, roads and bridges and that kind of thing. But maybe next time we'll get a shot at that. And there were some, I think, helpful things for the University of Minnesota and the MnSCU system. So it was not as, at least from the outside. I don't know what the dynamics were to figure out how it all worked, but I thought it came together relatively easily and quickly compared to other years. So,
Representative Scott, your thought on the bonding bill?
Again, the Southwest Minnesota, the Lewis and Clark project was essential, and one of the reasons that it really wasn't on our radar last year is because it's supposed to be the federal government coming through with funds, and that didn't happen. So the state had to pick up the slack there. These people, they have to have water. So that was a very worthwhile project. The problems maybe that I had more so with the bonding bill were the cash portion, which put us over the $1 billion mark. And some of the projects, I'm kind of a purist when it comes to those sorts of things, and I'm not really a big proponent of things that don't have statewide significance. And some of the Palace Theater, I don't think that helps the people in Roseau much, but. And the ski chalets and snow machines, some of those things
Or the Cosmo Conference Center.
And so some of those things, yeah. The
Scott's district?
No.
No, the cities, all the cities that got their civic centers and so forth.
That's always
that's
the
a debatable
challenge.
project.
We say regional significance now.
It's always a challenge.
Not just statewide.
We should talk just a little more about the Lewis and Clark project because you referenced that this was to be the federal government share. Years and years ago, when Andy Steensma was still in the legislature, they first came to my office. And it was a multi-state project, and because of that, it was going to be a multi-state solution, and so the
Right.
federal government was going to have the bigger role. They said our part was going to be $5.8 million. We did it very quickly. We did the state share very quickly, and then waited in vain for the federal government to come through. And so this is a solution that we hope will still be repaid by the federal government.
Right.
In the bill, they arrange for the repayment to both the state and the local government should that happen. But meanwhile, I think we had to deal with this. Now, here's the dilemma for us in the future. When they came to us first, theirs was one of the only water problems. Now everybody has a water problem. In the metro area and other places in greater Minnesota, Marshall is building its own line at their own expense. And so the dilemma we will have as policymakers is, as we solve these problems around the state, how are we fair to everyone?
Right.
What part should be the local share and what part should the state assume? And that, I think, we didn't really get into this year when we dealt with this Lewis and Clark issue, but it clearly will be going forward, I think, something we have to ask ourselves. How do we do that fairly to all taxpayers?
I did learn that this project has been around a long time. We were down in Laverne earlier this week with Senator Weber, and he talked about when he was mayor and served on the city council and that they had dealt with this, and he said, I thought we'd got that kind of put to bed, and then he found out that no, it still was out there. So he personally had been involved in that project for quite a while.
I'm pretty much confined to what I read in the newspaper about it. My understanding was that is this the end of the project, or are there additional funds that might need to be appropriated in the future?
As far as we know, we accomplished getting it all the way to Worthington, that they can look at the whole project. Doesn't mean they will get it all done this year, but
Right.
at least they can plan.
And for the
its
viewers, you're
completion.
piping water from the Missouri River, or what are you doing with this project?
Correct.
Yes, I got it right.
Yep.